3 years ago, I was standing in the rain next to 2 caskets at my parents' funeral. He had no idea what he was starting.
There is a moment in every woman's life where she finally sees something she should have years earlier. Boom. I'm done.
I keep the umbrella from that day, not out of pain, as a reminder that the worst moment of your life.
Our life looked like a magazine. Seriously, people complimented us on it all the time. You two are goals.
Mark, can we go over this together?
Don't worry your pretty little head about this, Clara. You're an artist. Numbers aren't your thing.
They never said a bad word about him to my face.
Not once. Not once.
My mother would look at Mark with this expression.
It was a Tuesday. I was...
Clara?
What's wrong?
The call, she's...
I'm so sorry. We'll get through this.
Why? Why isn't he shaking?
I couldn't see his face. I only felt his arms. But I remember glancing up.
Yes, they're both gone. No, not yet. I need to find out the state of their estate before the lawyer gets to her. He asked about their lawyer 3 times before the funeral.
Have you heard from your parents? We need to understand their affairs.
I need their complete financials as soon as it's legal. E&R Consulting.
Make sure there are no assets we don't know about. Go.
I know it's complicated, just do it.
He planned everything.
Everything. Chose everything.
He said he was taking the burden off me. I thought that was love.
We'll need 2 identical caskets.
I got through the eulogy. I don't know how. I talked about the lunches with notes.
Don't do this. I can't stop it. Just say the word.
No.
I'm done with guns. I can't be shackled to a worthless broke orphan. 10 years.
And then he turned and shook hands, accepted condolences. Such a loss. They were wonderful people.
I stayed after everyone left. Just me and them. I put my hand on each grave.
He didn't even stay the night. Left a note. Don't make this messy. My lawyer Monday.
His note said, "My lawyer will be in contact Monday. Don't make this messy." And I thought about the word messy.
Mrs. Sterling, this is Alistair Finch. I was your...
I expected a small, dusty office, the kind of modest place my parents would have hired.
Thank you for coming, Clara. I knew your parents for over 30 years. The most brilliant and the most careful people I have ever known.
They ran a small firm, E&R Consulting.
A comfortable life. They were very humble.
They were humble, yes, but their business was not.
$340 million.
I stared at it. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't smiling. He was watching me with complete calm.
Clara, this money is in an irrevocable trust.
Set up years before you ever met Mark.
It is non-marital property. Your mother left this.
My instructions were to give it to you only after you knew everything, literally to hammer flour.
Why didn't they tell me?
They saw him, Clara, from the very beginning.
They were afraid he was with you for what he thought he could get.
I walked out of that building different. I didn't know everything yet. I hadn't read the letter. But I knew the ground had shifted entirely.
Mark always hated this chair. It's old, Clara. It clashes.
My darling Clara. Fewer missed fears than our worst.
The second part of the letter was different. My mother's warmth gave way to something precise and cold.
He was a thief. Had been for 7 years. The man who told me we needed to cut back on groceries, who told me my parents had no...
A hotel in Paris. A restaurant in New York. A private rental in Aspen. I sat there photos and every unease, every middle of the night feeling I'd had. In the last 6 months, his behavior became erratic. He was losing money, he was owing money, his clothes.
off-the-books brake service, a specific truck, a specific route, the route that goes down the winding country road where the hit.
We do not know what he planned, my darling, but we fear what he is capable of when cornered. I closed the letter. The grief was still there, an ocean, like she said.
Mr. Finch, I've read the letter, all of it. I need a forensic accountant and a divorce attorney. Not good ones, the best.
So she got nothing?
Her parents had a little consulting firm. She has whatever I leave her.
Finch called me at 11 p.m., told me the situation. I said I'll be there at 9. Because when Alistair Finch calls at 11 p.m.,
I've forensically analyzed hundreds of financial fraud cases. What her parents investigated or put together was as clean and documented as anything I've seen.
she had a $340 million trust, a cheating, predatory husband who was also a financial criminal, possible connection to the accident.
Found it, $8.3 million, his account. Combined with the domestic shell structures deed in, we're looking at total client theft in excess of 11 million.
Clara, the trucking company. I found the Shell Corporation, it's his.
Can you trace the specific truck and the brake service to a timeline?
Already running it.
Yes. Full package, renunciation of all claims, ready for signature. What we were building was a financial... Clara, hope my lawyer reached out. Let's get this done.
We need to talk. Come to the house.
Glad you're being reasonable.
One folder, that's all I put on the table. Diana had wanted to put everything out, I said no.
He showed up in his best suit. He wore his power the way other men wear armor. That suit had closed 100 deals. He thought it was gonna close this one. All right, Clara, let's hear it. Bids really hits.
We're being more than generous.
Half the house equity, your car, sign the papers, let's move on. I watched the smugness leave his face in real time. It's impossible to describe accurately. 1 second, the colors deal.
This is fake.
This is fake. That is my inheritance.
From the broke parents you eulogized. It is in an irrevocable trust.
The room was spinning. I was trying to understand how any of this was possible, how much they knew. The folder fell.
Photos across the coffee table, bank statement carrots.
My parents were meticulous, Mark. They kept records of everything, even the purchase of that little trucking company.
There was a long moment where he just looked at me, and I let it sit, because he needed to understand the exact dimension of what was happening.
Clara delivered those terms exactly as we'd rehearsed. Flat, cold, no anger, no drama, just the math. And if I don't,
Then this
file, along with a much thicker one, goes to the district attorney and the SEC and the senior...
He signed.
The pen scratched on.
He signed. He left. And I sat in my father's armchair in the house that was... I gave him a week. Then I did what I told him I would do. Anonymous packages to the district attorney's office and the SEC.
Mark, now! We need to talk. Now! The fallout was swift. His partners received the package on a Wednesday. He lost his career on Friday. His reputation was in pieces by the weekend. He was indicted on federal charges the following month.
Sophia found out the same week that the man she'd been with for 3 years had also been stealing from her father's accounts.
Dad, I didn't know.
It's done. It's done. Officially.
Good. Walking into the real offices of the holdings for the first time, like knowing it was my parents.
I've introduced many principals to their teams. I want already respected.
The woman who was not good with numbers sat down in front of a $340 million portfolio and found something unexpected. I understood it intuitively. Her first board meeting, she arrived 5 minutes early, sat at the head of the table, prepared.
Mark had spent 10 years telling her she wasn't.
She called me 6 weeks after the confrontation. She was running through a tech startup acquisition.
Her questions were, I'll be honest, better than most people's after a decade in the industry. I come here, but not to mourn anymore. I come to say thank you. Not for the money wise, I want to be clear about.
The FBI investigation into my parents' accident is ongoing. The trucking company connection has been officially flagged.
3 years later, he's facing federal wire fraud charges, SEC violations, and his law firm was dissolved. His assets are frozen.
Eleanor and Richard would be proud. I say that with complete certainty. Not proud of the revenged up, they weren't vindictive people.
I am not a worthless, broke orphan. I am the CEO of a $300 million built with quiet genius while my
Here's the question. Did she feel guilty about Mark? About sending the packages? Did she owe him mercy? Comment yes or no. Coercive control. It's not just abuse, it's the systematic dismantling of someone's sense of self and capability.
We watched him take her apart piece by piece, and we couldn't say a word without losing her entirely. That was the calculation.
People ask me, did you suspect any of it? The $340 million? And the honest answer is no, because they were so perfectly humble. I see cases like Clara's more often than you'd think, where the controlling husband has no idea that the family he married into is actually 10 times wealthy.
That's first. The irrevocable trust. Let's talk about this because it matters. A properly structured irrevocable trust.
Financial abuse in marriages is vastly underreported. According to the National Network to End Domestic Violence, 99% of domestic violence situations.
Controversy question. Should Clara have confronted Mark before sending the packages to authorities? Or was she right to let him sign, then? The question people ask about the packages, did I feel like I broke a promise? No. Here's why. I told him, if you don't sign, the file goes to the DA.
The financial fraud case is proceeding. Wire fraud, securities fraud, client misappropriation, NABATE, these are federal charges with significant sentencing guidelines.
I want to know something. How many of you are in a relationship where one partner handles all the finances and the other partner isn't allowed to look? Right now,
marriage is one of the most powerful protections. I had advised. Clara's control Mark exercised. We thought about telling her so many times, but we'd hired someone to follow Mark for 2 months and the report frightened us. He monitored.
Private investigators who specialize in financial fraud cases have noted that white-collar criminals, people like the character in Image 1, tend to.
I've been asked, do you hate him? And the honest answer is no. What I feel is something colder and cleaner than hate. Here's one that divides people.
Should character in Image 1 and character in Image 2 have told character in Image 3 about the trust? She would have told him. Not out of stupidity, but out of love. She was in love with a man who didn't deserve it, and love makes people trust.
Once I understood why they did it, I stopped mourning the secret. Because here's what I know. If I had found out about the money at any point,
The contrast between where each of them stands now compared to where he expected them to stand, Vase. It's one of the most complete reversals I've seen.
1 year after the funeral, I went to their graves and I told them, the company is healthy, the team is strong.
if this story reached something in you, subscribe. Not for me. Because stories like this are about things that are happening.
My name is Clara. I was a worthless, broke orphan. Then I was the CEO of a $340 million company.
Irrevocable trusts used for asset protection. According to the American Bar Association, they are one of the most powerful.
I've handled 37 divorce cases involving hidden assets. The pattern is always the same. One partner controls finances entirely.
Comment below. If you knew your partner was hiding financial information from you, would you? A, confront them directly. B, quietly investigate first.
The thing about coercive control that I want every woman, Jiren, and every man who is watching this to understand, it doesn't feel like abuse while you're inside it.
The offshore shell company structure character in Image 2 used was sophisticated but not unique. We see it repeatedly in high earner financial fraud cases.
According to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, the average corporate fraud case lasts 14 months before detection.
Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Was Clara partly responsible for her own financial answers? I've asked myself that question 1,000 times, and the answer I've landed on, yes and no. Yes, I could have insisted, I could have pushed harder.
I want to say something to the women watching this who recognize their own life in Clara's. We saw it too. We couldn't do anything until the time was right.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline defines financial abuse as including preventing a partner from working, controlling.
If you think your partner may be hiding assets, here's what you do. Do not confront them. First, quietly document everything. Then talk to an attorney before any confrontation.
I also want to say something about the parents' investigator. Whoever they hired did exceptional work. That level of documentation, any transaction level records, offshore.
Did character in image 1 Mark know about the $340 million trust? My honest assessment? No. The $340 million was completely invisible.
He knew my parents weren't broke. That's why he kept asking about the lawyer. He suspected something, but I genuinely believe he had no idea of this.
The trucking company, the brake service, the timing. I want you to sit with this question. If you were in Clara's position, what do you do?
Clara handled the trucking company evidence with exactly the precision her parents would have wanted. She used it at the confrontation as the final mirror gun, showing him.
Here's the thing about secrets in families. We think we're protecting the people we love by keeping them. Sometimes that's exactly right. And
I didn't discover my parents' secret until after they died. And for a while, I was angry at them for keeping it. Then I thought about what the world looks like from their.
We drove the sensible cars because the extravagant cars draw attention. We lived in the same house because that house held every memory that mattered.
Before we get to the final chapters, if this conversation matters to you, subscribe. Every week, this channel is about the hidden realities in American life.
The final numbers in the divorce settlement. Clara retains full ownership of the marital home, vehicle, all assets. Mark receives nothing.
Statistics that matter. According to the Institute for Women's Policy Research, women who experience financial abuse after divorce. What I want every person watching this to know, you are not the story someone else tells about you. I walked into that boardroom and found out that was never true. It was never true.
he asked for a divorce at her parents' funeral. He chose that moment deliberately. What does that choice tell you about who he actually was? Comment.
I want to say this for the record. I have done hundreds of forensic investigations. The quality of the investigative work Eleanor and Richard commissioned is in the top 5 I've ever seen.
My darling, if you are reading these words, it means you are already on the other side of it. And we're always going to be fine.
A real pattern that happens in marriages involving financial control. The controlling partner tends to present their control as service. I handle the money so you don't have to.
Best engagement question I've seen in comments on stories like this. If you found out your partner was hiding $8 million offshore, what is the very first call you make?
The first real board meeting where I proposed a major acquisition, a tech startup in Austin, I watched the senior analyst's face go through 3 phases. Doubt.
I've been asked, did I know about Mark from the beginning? I suspected. Eleanor and Richard told me their concerns early in the marriage.
Something I want to address directly. People sometimes suggest that Clara's story is too neat, too perfect. The villain too villainous, Victor's victim.
The people who feel sorry for Mark are telling you something important about how we've normalized controlling behavior in relationships.
For women watching this who are in financially controlling relationships, there are resources. The National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-700.
Final chapter question, Dolly, and I want everyone to answer. What do you think is the most important thing Eleanor and Richard did for their daughter?
It was the letter. I know people will say the money is just math.
Subscribe, share, and in the comments below, tell me this. Are you in a relationship where one partner handles all the money and the other doesn't know what's in the account?
If you want to know whether there are hidden assets in your household, here are the first 3 places a forensic accountant looks. 1. Lifestyle inconsistency.
One more thing about Clara's story that I don't want to leave unsaid. She loved him. She genuinely loved him for years while building what she thought was. The last thing I want to say, if you are watching this in a relationship that feels smaller than you are, I need you to hear something.
From a rainy cemetery and 2 caskets, and a whisper that was meant to destroy her foe, to a corner office.
I bring them coffee sometimes. I know that sounds strange. My mom's order was a medium vanilla latte. My dad.
The thing I keep coming back to, did he love her at any point, or was she always just an asset on his balance sheet? Some people argue no one is entirely transactional.
I'll tell you what I believe, as someone who has seen the evidence. That man did not love his wife. He was in a relationship with her assets. Real love doesn't look like that. She framed the coast trip photos.
I've watched her in the boardroom. I've watched her on earnings calls. I've watched her make decisions that her parents, brilliant as they were, might have approached differently.
The company under Clara grew 18% in its first year of her leadership.
12% the year after. The team, which was already excellent.
Here's the thing about the seed metaphor that she uses. Seeds don't bloom despite the conditions. They bloom because of them.
What's the most important thing you've taken from this story? Is it the practical, know your finances, trust structures, warning signs, or the emotional?
We didn't tell her, we couldn't, but there was never a morning I woke up and didn't think about her.
We see you. We love you, Clara.
We love you still.
I love you too, Eleanor.
I'm her father. I'm going to say this simply. She was always stronger than anyone knew, including herself.
Irony update. The house that Mark told Clara she would get half of in the divorce, the colonial with the perfect lawn dotus, is now entirely hers.
I replaced the kitchen island because it was where his note was. The marble one. Don't make this messy. People ask about Sophia Pye, the mistress. She reached out to Clara, apparently, once. Clara's response was, nothing. The one area where his case is still active and unresolved is the criminal investigation. Wire fraud? Indicted. The accident investigation. It's still open. I cooperate with every request. I've submitted everything. I don't expect certainty.
If he caused the accident, does that change how you see everything?
According to FBI statistics, financial motive is present in approximately 60% of vehicular homicide cases investigated at the federal level.
The trucking company Shell Corporation is real. I've reviewed it. The off-the-books brake service record exists in documentation. What I cannot say is whether the...
People ask if I want him convicted for the accident more than the fraud. The honest answer is, I want the truth, whatever the truth is.
In 40 years of estate law, I have never seen a set of parents protect their child the way Eleanor and Richard did.
1 in 3 women in the U.S. reports financial abuse in a current or former relationship. Of those, 70...
What I want people to take from Clara's case practically, if you think there are hidden assets in your marriage, even if you're not planning to leave.
The $340 million trust. Let's be clear about why it worked. Eleanor and Richard set it up before Clara even met Mark.
Last major debate question for this video. Clara's parents made every decision based on protecting her from a man she loved. They earlier would have failed. I know that. I was in love, I would have defended him, I would have questioned their motives, I might have cut off contact with them entirely, which is...
What I think this story is actually about, underneath the money and the betrayal and the justice, it's about what people see in each other.
Update. Federal trial date has been set for the wire fraud and securities fraud charges. 23 counts. Expected sentencing if convicted, 8 to 12 years.
The one thing character A says she wishes she'd known, that financial independence isn't just about money. It's about information.
If this story moved you, subscribe. If it informed you, share it. If it helped you see some of your own situation more clearly.
He tried to bury me. He chose a grave. He chose the exact moment my parents were going into the earth. He chose that moment.
She sat in that same chair. 3 years later, different woman, CEO suit, same eyes too, but the look in this is different.
She called me 6 months after the divorce was final, just to say thank you, not about a legal matter. Attorneys don't get those often.
She runs exactly the opposite of a Mark Sterling operation. Exactly the opposite.
Eleanor and Richard's company under Clara. 4 new portfolio acquisitions in 3 years, 2 successful IPOs from startup and...
The final question bit here, and I want to hear from everyone. What would you want the last thing you said to your parents to be if you knew? I see it now. The whole thing, the careful eyes at the dinner table, I see all of it and I know it was love. Thank you. I see it now. We see you, Clara. In the boardroom and at our graves and in your father's armchair with the letter open in your lap. From a rainy cemetery, from a whisper designed to break her, from 2 caskets and a man who thought she... He tried to bury me. He just didn't realize I was a seed. And seeds, given the right conditions, even the worst one...
More than 15 million Americans are in financially abusive relationships right now, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence.
People keep asking me, when did you know something was wrong? And the honest answer is always. I always knew. I knew it the first time. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, it takes a victim of coercive control an average of 7 attempts before they leave permanently. 7. I replaced the kitchen island. People think that's strange, Ben. Why keep the house at all? But this was my house too.
She runs the company the way her parents did TASD, with total clarity. Her senior analysts describe her meetings as the most prepared they attend.
I want to address something for the people watching this who are wondering, can this happen to me? Can my partner hide this kind of money?
For every woman watching this who recognized herself in Clara's story, the first consultation at most family law firms is confidential and often free.
Mark Sterling's federal trial is scheduled.
23 counts of wire fraud and securities fraud covering 7 years of client account theft. Is being
When I got the notification about the trial date, I sat at my parents' company's desk in the building my parents built, and I didn't feel what I thought I'd feel.
How are you actually doing? Honestly, better than I thought I'd be. Also exactly as complicated as it's like learning to be a date.
We sat in that office, Michaela.
We sat in that office for 2 hours going over every clause.
She's gonna be okay.
She was always going to be okay.
3 years after standing at a graveside in the rain, Clara Sterling announced the Eleanor and Richard Foundation, a nonprofit providing financial literacy education. The first time I sat across from someone at the foundation who was exactly where I used to be now, the controlled finances, the you're not good with this, the world I want to ask you something, and I genuinely want to know. Has someone ever made your world smaller by calling it love?
In 42 years of practice, I have executed tens of thousands of estate documents. Trusts, wills, succession.
One practical thing I want everyone to do after watching this video, tonight, sit down with your partner and open every financial account together. All of them.
Here's the question that gets the most replies. Do you think I should have forgiven him?
She visits every month. She started bringing her quarterly reports. Her mother always loved data. Henry gets that from her.
My darling Clara, you were always the light of our lives, our greatest masterpiece. Everything we did for you. 3 things. First, your parents are watching your life. Second, your financial life is your responsibility. Third, you are not the story someone else told about you. This comment right here, this is why I'm telling this story. Not for the drama, not for the numbers. For whoever is sitting on a couch somewhere right now reading this to their partner.
I want to say this clearly because it matters.
Here's what the data says about financial abuse and divorce. 1. When financial abuse is present, divorce outcomes are significantly worse for the abused party.
The house with the perfect lawn. The one where she designed Christmas cards and planned dinner parties and poured her creativity into being the perfect corporate wife.
People ask, is this story real? I'll tell you what is absolutely, provably real. Coercive control is real, is rare, and is real.
I needed to know what Clara would be facing when she opened it. There's a line near the end where Eleanor writes, "Be stronger than us."
The single most important financial health action.
You can take tonight is also the simplest.
Full joint disclosure. All
agents. I told them about the foundation, the numbers, the 47 women this quarter. I told them about the Austin acquisition, the irrevocable.
She kept the armchair. She got a dog, a large, ridiculous, deeply beloved Bichon she named after her father's favorite fishing. Last question, and I want you to be honest. Is there someone in your life whose relationship reminds you of mine? Not the $340 million part, the earlier part. If the answer
This took months after launch. 3 months adds on. 63 women had financial assessments. 12 retained attorneys.
I want to leave you with one number. The median annual income lost by women who leave financially abusive relationships without preparation is $32,000.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. They cover financial abuse, available 24 hours.
I visit them once a year. I've done it since they died. I bring calla lilies because that was Eleanor's.
Year 3, a $47 million acquisition vote. Unanimous board approval. The Austin acquisition is approved. Every night she looks at this city and thinks about the version of herself who was sketching in a sunroom, waiting.
Every morning, I stop for 1 second before I get in the car. It's deliberate. I think about who I was 5 years ago and what she would think.
He went from the man who held all the cards to a man holding a public defender's briefing notes outside a federal courthouse. She went from the...
Before we finish all, if this story reached something in you, subscribe. Not because numbers matter to me, because every week on this channel there's another story.
She kept the house, her parents' modest house, the one with the sensible curtains and the old refrigerator.
This is my mother's cup, the one she drank her morning coffee from every single day for as long as I can remember. The foundation's hallway has 2 portraits. Eleanor in her cardigan, reading glasses on her head. I carry the letter every day in a small sleeve in my bag.
I got it, Mom. I got it, Dad. I understand the whole thing now. And I'll keep going.
He tried to bury me.
He didn't realize I was a seed.